Hello, today we will go over the steps on how to use insulin pens. First, you will need to have your insulin pen, pen needles, alcohol pads, and a sharps container. The big difference between insulin pens and insulin vials is that you will no longer need to draw up the insulin into a syringe. Instead, all of the insulin is inside the pen. All you need to do is turn the dial to the correct number of units that you would like to inject. Step 1. Wash your hands with soap and water. Make sure you have the correct insulin pen, especially if you are on more than one type of insulin. Pull off the cap of the insulin pen and take a look inside the pen. Make sure that the insulin is clear and colorless. Do not use if the insulin looks cloudy or colored or has clumps in it. Step 2. Use an alcohol pad to clean the tip of the insulin pen. Next, clean the skin area, we'll pretend this is your skin, where you want to inject the insulin. Step 3. Take a new pen needle and open up the cover. Push it straight into the insulin pen and turn it clockwise. Turn it until it is tight. Step 4. Take off the 2 pen needles. Here's one, and here's the second one, until you can see the needle. Step 5. Turn the dial on the insulin pen to the number 2 to prime your insulin. You're going to push up to make sure you can see some insulin come out. Next, turn the dial to the correct number of units until you get to your insulin dose. If you turned too much, you can turn the dial backwards to get your correct dose. Step 6. Inject the pen into the skin and push down on the top of the pen until you see the number on the dial go back to 0. Hold for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then take out the needle from the skin. You have now given your insulin injection. Step 7. Remove the needle by placing the big plastic cover on the needle and then twisting counterclockwise to remove the needle. Throw it away in the sharps container. You must use a new pen needle each time you give an insulin shot. Step 8. Put the cap back onto the insulin pen and store it safely until your next injection.
Okay, so I'm going to first take off my cap from the pen.
That's correct.
And I'm going to get the alcohol pad and wipe the top.
Yes.
And then we're just pretending that this is my tummy, my skin. I'm going to clean the area where I'm going to inject.
Right.
Get my needle pen. Remove the cover.
Okay.
And then I'm going to twist it on tight.
Yep. And we're turning it clockwise.
Clockwise.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to remove two caps. This one.
Right.
And then the second one.
Yes.
And then I'm going to turn this to 2 to prime my pen.
That's correct.
And I turned it to 2 and let that go.
Okay.
And now my dose is 22 units, so I'm going to turn to 22.
Right.
No, that's 22.
That is 22, correct.
Okay. Now I'm ready to inject. Go like this.
Okay.
Put it straight in.
Yes.
Push it, and then I'm going to count to 10.
Correct.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to put the cap back on.
Right.
And then I'm going to go counterclockwise to remove it.
That's right.
And I'm going to dispose it in the red bin.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put my cap on.
All right. And then we just remember to use a new needle for the next time.
Okay.
All right. Some things to remember. Each pen holds 300 units of insulin. This means you use one pen many times until the insulin runs out. You are able to see how much insulin is left in the pen. If you are unable to turn the dial on the pen any further, that means the pen only has that much insulin left. You can either use up what is left in the pen and inject the rest of your dose with a new pen, or you can throw away the current pen and use a new pen to inject the full dose. We have 3 different sizes of pen needles: 4 millimeters, 6 millimeters, and 8 millimeters. If you are uncomfortable with your pen needles, you can ask to switch to a different length needle. If you are using the 4 millimeter or 6 millimeter pen needles, you do not need to pinch the skin when injecting. Go straight into the skin with the needle. The Detamere or Levemere insulin pen is good for only 42 days after you start using the pen. If you think it's been more than 42 days since you used your first pen, throw the pen away and use a new pen. You can keep the pen you are using out at room temperature. Keep all other unused pens in the refrigerator until needed. Other pens, such as Insulin Glargine or Lantus pens, Insulin Lispro or Humalog pens, and Insulin Aspart or Novolog pens are good for up to 28 days, only at room temperature. After 28 days, you must use a new pen, even though there may be some insulin left in the current pen. There are many areas on your body where you can inject the insulin. Remember, inject using a different spot from the last injection.